Day 35, Exodus chapter 16, 17, and 18. Welcome to today's Whispers. If you have ever prayed for change, then complained when the process became uncomfortable, if you have ever felt tired while trying to lead, serve, or simply survive another difficult season, then the journey of Israel will feel surprisingly familiar. It is about how God shapes people in the wilderness long before he settles them in promise. Let us begin in the wilderness of sin. The people were free, but they were hungry. And suddenly their memory rewrote history. They complained, and God responded through Moses with these powerful words. The Israelites thought they were complaining about their leaders, but God said their complaints were really directed at him. Today we do the same. We grumble about our jobs. But perhaps God is shaping our patience. We complain about delays, but God may be protecting our timing. We blame people, when God is inviting us to trust him. God did not abandon them because they complained. Instead, he provided quail in the evening and manna in the morning, because even when our faith is weak, God's mercy is not. Every morning the people gathered manna, and when they measured it by the omer, the one who gathered much did not have too much, and the one who gathered little did not have too little. Everyone had gathered just as much as they needed. This about God's economy. In today's world, we measure success by excess. More followers, more income, more possessions. But God's provision worked differently. No hoarding, no comparing, no competing. Each person had enough. God was not just feeding them, he was retraining their mindset. They had lived in Egypt where survival depended on storing, controlling, and striving. Now God was teaching them daily trust. Can we trust God not only for big miracles, but for daily bread? Can we live without fear that tomorrow will fail us? God commanded them to gather manna for 6 days and rest on the seventh. Yet some of the people went out on the seventh day to gather it, but they found none. Why would they do that? Because rest feels risky when you are afraid of lack. Many believers struggle with the same issue. We say we trust God, but we refuse to slow down. We fear that if we stop working, even for a moment, everything will fall apart. But God's Sabbath principle was more than a rule. It was a declaration. I am your provider, not your constant effort. And the people who went out on the seventh day found nothing, not because God was cruel, but because he was teaching them trust through obedience. Sometimes exhaustion is not from hard work alone, but from ignoring God's rhythm. Soon after, the people faced another crisis: no water. Again they quarreled with Moses. Again fear spoke louder than faith. Yet God instructed Moses to strike a rock, and water flowed. God's provision often comes from unexpected places. A rock is the last place you expect water. Just like today, answers may come from unlikely opportunities, unfamiliar people, or seasons we never planned. God was showing them that he can make streams in the desert stop limiting his methods. Then came their first major battle. Joshua led the army, while Moses stood on a hill with the staff of God in his hands. As long as Moses held up his hands, Israel prevailed. But when his hands grew tired, the enemy gained ground. Even strong leaders get tired. The victory was not achieved because Moses was superhuman. It was achieved because he was supported. In today's culture, people feel pressure to carry everything alone: family burdens, ministry responsibilities, business struggles, emotional battles. But God designed community. Sometimes you are Moses, needing help. Sometimes you are Aaron or Hur, holding someone else's hands up. And sometimes victory comes not from personal strength, but from shared perseverance. After the battle, Moses' father-in-law Jethro visited and observed Moses judging disputes all day, from morning till evening. When Jethro asked a question, Moses explained that the people came to him for guidance. But Jethro saw what Moses could not see: burnout approaching, and he spoke honestly. Being called by God does not mean doing everything yourself. Many leaders think exhaustion proves dedication. Many parents think asking for help is weakness. Many business owners believe delegation reduces control. But Jethro's wisdom teaches us that sustainable service requires shared responsibility. Moses listened. Humility allowed him to grow. He appointed capable leaders, shared the load, and created a structure that allowed the community to thrive. God remained faithful, even when the people were fearful, impatient, or complaining. So if you are in a wilderness season today, feeling stretched, uncertain, or tired, remember this truth. The same God who provided manna, who brought water from a rock, who strengthened Moses through community, is still shaping lives today. May we also experience the glory of the Lord.